What is up, everybody? Dan the Fireman here. Today we're going to be going over this escape path that we saw when we did the crash compilation review, and then we're going to be doing the lefty-loosey drill out in the parking lot. So here we go. We're going to go through here. I remember this was a merging incident. There it is, and then the escape path to get out of there. So this is a great job when it came to planning our ride. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that just a little bit. So once again, what we're focusing on is the plan method, okay? So we're positioning for safety, locating hazardous situations, assessing relevant threats, and then navigating our way out of here. So if you don't know how to, kind of get yourself in that mindset, think of the color codes, okay? This is the color code chart that we use at the MTC Rider Academy. Let's put that back up on the board. White stage, you're completely zoned out, okay? So yellow stage, you are paying attention. About 90% of your riding is done in yellow stage. So let's go and bring it back up. Orange stage is when you see something kind of like, oh, what is that? What is that? And it's going to make your gut tell you, hey, something's going on, something's wrong. We need to kind of pay attention. And when you get into that situation, it's more of a rolling off the throttle, just a little bit, maybe covering the brakes, looking for those escape paths, and making sure that we're doing what we need to do. Because if we have to, red stage, we got to do something. And that's what we did here in this video. We did a really good red stage maneuver. Brown stage is when you're kind of like pooping your pants. So we're coming up to here. So we're looking at the plan method here. So we're positioned for safety. We're doing pretty good. We have very good view up in front of us. Line of sight's really good. We have escape paths to the right now. I mean, we're moving past this truck to my left. But yeah, the space cushions and everything's good. So everything looks fine. It's an intersection, so we should be in orange stage anyways. Okay, if you notice on the plan method, it's yellow, orange, orange, red. That's kind of in the same kind of pattern. They work together. So we're coming up to here. We got a blind turn, because of that vehicle. That's fine. So what we want to do here when it comes to positioning for safety is that we want to maintain a good space cushion here. So if this person switches over, hey, it's not going to hit us because we're not anywhere close. If we need to, we can swerve in here. This person's not anywhere close to where we want to swerve into. So we're doing pretty good. So the main thing here is to kind of be in that staggered formation that we see all the time when it comes to motorcycle riders. Let's stay staggered when it comes to car drivers. So we're coming up to here, and now part of what we're doing as smart riders is we're seeking and recognizing and understanding hazardous situations. And we talk about this all the time. The pattern that we got to be watching out for is an open lane in front of us, and their lane is slowing down. So people are going to be like, I don't like this truck, or the semi, it's going way too slow. He's right in front of me. So I'm going to go ahead and switch lanes and pass him. That's typically what happens. It's what you're going to want to do, to assume that that's what they're going to want to do. So our job, if we assume that this is going to be happening, is that we stay here. We stay in an area where we are far away because we're anticipating them coming into our lanes. And I'm probably going to hear from a bunch of comments, how can you decide that? How can you figure that out? Just start going out there and not looking where this is. Like, this is what we're typically looking at, the road right in front of us. Start picking your eyes up and start scanning the road. Start seeking and recognizing hazardous situations here, because there's no road surface hazards in this area. There's nothing. You got a big, long line of road here. So everything seems to be kind of going good. And then you start getting to that highway hypnosis, start going to white stage, and that's when you start having a problem. So if you're zoned in, paying attention, we're looking for these patterns. This vehicle up here is going slow. Hey, maybe they're going to want to switch lanes. I would want to, so maybe they would. So if they switch lanes, where am I going to be in this situation? You start to really put things together. And it can also be, side of the vehicle, somebody wanted to come out here. Where would I be if they decided to do that? You start asking yourself these questions of what would happen if I was there, or if I was in their perspective, in their position. Okay, so look at it from multiple different lenses, and that happens real quickly when you've been doing this for a while. But if you don't know how to do that, keep watching these videos, because we keep talking about this so we can hopefully burn it into your memory. So right here, he perceived that this person was crossing those lines. Very good. That person's switching over. Okay, very good. We are honking the horn. Not going to do too much. Okay, it's not going to really grab their attention because they're still traveling at a higher rate of speed than the vehicle in front. So right here, at this point, we're not in a good position for safety. All we can really do is progressively brake. So you're going to squeeze, 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 squeeze. So hopefully allow that person in, and then you're kind of like going backwards in a way. You're not traveling the same speed, so you're not going to intersect. Or you can accelerate, because you can't swerve left. You got this thing right here, this median. Can't swerve right, okay? So we really have acceleration or deceleration to get ourselves out of here. So that's what we're doing. We're going to go into red stage. And I would prefer to do some braking because I'm really comfortable with my braking. Maybe he's not, and he just wants to gun it. So you might want to practice your braking. So right here, it's like we're in a bad spot. We got to do something. We got to do something. It's easier to brake at this point, but he's going to go ahead and accelerate, which is perfectly fine. You got himself out of that situation. It just puts you now in a higher rate of speed, in a difficult position where you can't swerve left, you can't swerve right. You're just kind of in a bad spot, and you're going to have to accelerate. So a lot of issues when it comes to like, oh man, that was scary, that was scary. Pull over, relax, do everything. So to recap this, make sure that we are actually paying attention to not just what's in front of us, not just the the driver right there, but the whole situation of what could happen. And you get better and better and better watching these videos or riding and getting experience yourself, but then you're putting yourself in a position of unsafe stuff. So I don't know, let's go out to the parking lot and let's do some lefty-loosey drills based on the Smart Rider drill booklet. I'll see you guys out there. What is up, everybody? Today we're going to be doing the lefty-loosey. This is a Smart Rider drill, 1 of 20. It's the first one. It's an easy one, and what it does is 3 left U-turns. It's a wide left turn, a little bit narrower, and then it's under 20 feet. It's going to be like a decreasing radius left turn situation. So I'm going to show you how to do that. But, you know, if you want to practice your left turns, this is a great exercise to do, and it's easy to do. So here we go. We're going to go around the cones, okay? And if you don't know what we're doing here, this is the Smart Rider drills. And now we're gonna go within this cone. And then this one right here, we're gonna set ourselves up and we're gonna do it within all the cones, okay? It makes it, yeah, once you see it, you start to understand, and that's just the demos. But the goal is to do our left turns. So you wanna really focus on that head and eye movement. You wanna do that counterweighting, handlebar turn, and then you have to use some friction zone, throttle control, and if you need to, use that rear brake. So I'm gonna do this first one without using the rear brake. The second one I will do. Okay, there we go. That's what we'll do. So here we go. So no rear brake, no brake at all, really. So head and eye movement. Throttle control, friction zone, and then exit through. If you don't know what we're talking about here and what kind of design is this is the Smart Rider drills. Only need 10 cones. There's a booklet on the shop. I'm utilizing a phone-friendly version of it on my phone. It's a digital download. But anyways, if you don't know what to do and you want to do it, grab a booklet, grab some cones. It comes with these too. All right, so now we're gonna use the rear brake. So a little bit of rear brake before exiting. So you can see how we could slow it down. Slow it down with that rear brake just a little bit. We're not pressing it hard. We're just kind of dragging it a little bit, and it allows us to kind of stabilize. So rear brake, throttle control, friction zone, and exit out. So if you're using, like say a sport bike, one second, let's come back around. Now let's go ahead and do this for realsies. Let's figure out how we're gonna do it. Either with the brake or without the brake. Honestly, I prefer without the brake. I like to keep going. Maybe a little bit of brake, there you go. A little bit of brake here. Woo, that was close. And then we're exiting out. So 13.267 is my time. Not too bad, not too bad, but that right there is the lefty-loosey. I absolutely love doing this because it is that 3 left turns, and it's gonna keep getting narrower and narrower and narrower. Absolutely love it. What is up, everybody? We're gonna be talking about how should a beginner rider basically ride a motorcycle. How should a beginner ride a motorcycle while I'm doing these packages? So first and foremost, take a motorcycle safety class. Okay, we talk about MSF all the time. You know, there's total control wherever you are when it comes to you know, the facilities that you do have. These are large gloves, so the rescue pack. So go ahead and take a class. What you're gonna get there is you're gonna have, hopefully they're gonna provide you a motorcycle for first and foremost, because they're gonna be teaching you how to ride it. Helmet and gloves. The typical prereqs are you need to know how to ride a bicycle. You need to bring pants, so like long pants, something like this, maybe jeans, boots like this maybe. You need to have closed-toed shoes. It's good to have some boots, and then a long sleeve t-shirt. That's pretty much all you have to bring, and that's a great investment because those types of places give you your endorsement. Our online academy doesn't give you an endorsement, but it's really inexpensive, and it's going to prepare you for this class, so you might want to check that out. But yeah, definitely take a class that's going to be helping you out. Next thing you're going to want to do as a beginner rider is to get the right gear. Getting the right gear is super important. You want to make sure you wear a helmet, jacket, pants, gloves, and boots. So let's say you went to the course and you learned everything you possibly could, and you don't have any gear because you use all of their stuff. So it's really important to go out there and get the motorcycle gear. So we have a link in the description for some beginner gear from Revzilla, but however you want to get it. I don't recommend used. I recommend trying things out. So if there's a cycle gear near you, go ahead and check it out. Cycle gear is owned by Komodo Holdings, which is Revzilla. So pretty much the same return policy, and they sell pretty much the same stuff for the most part. So get yourself some gear. The next thing is familiarize yourself with your motorcycle if you got one. So obviously, you're getting to you're gonna start riding, and you are starting to move towards getting your own motorcycle and everything. So go to the dealership, sit on a bunch of motorcycles, figure out what you like. Maybe you've already done the research, so I don't have to tell you all this stuff, but then actually familiarize yourself with it. So it's just like getting into a car for the first time. You're like, okay, where's the mirrors? How are they positioned? Okay, so where's the shifter? If you have one, but where's all the buttons for the radio? It's just like the little things like that for a car, but for a motorcycle, it's like, okay, where's the friction zone? Like how, sometimes it's, between, 1 and 5, so it's gonna be like number 3, but this one's like a 2, and this one's maybe like a 3.5 or 4. You'll understand once you take the class what I'm talking about. And so figure that out, figure out where the brakes really kind of kick in when you start squeezing, figure out the balance points. So really familiarize yourself with the motorcycle before you even go crazy, because that's the next part, is you want to make sure that you practice on a flat surface. So practice on a flat surface, typically like in a parking lot. Those are typically flat for the most part. We teach the Smart Rider drills, which is in this booklet right here, and all you need is a 40x60 parking lot to really do a bunch of stuff. We got 20 drills in here, starting from beginner. So there's the 40x60. Let's see if it can zoom. All right, there you go. And we got easy drills all the way to expert drills, which get pretty crazy. They get pretty crazy. So you might want to check that out. But if anything, practice your tight turns from a stop that you learned in class, your figure eights, your U-turns, all of those things. That's going to help you out tremendously when it comes to riding on the road, because if you can ride slowly really well, it gets easier to ride a little bit faster really well. So make sure you do that. So next thing is ride slowly. So that's really what you want to be doing, is start off slowly. So you went from a parking lot, it's basically under 10 miles an hour, maybe max 20. What's the next step? Think of progressive overload. You don't go to the gym and do bench press, and let's say you start off with the bar. Okay, that's great. That's where you start. Okay, we're gonna work through that. It gets easier and you get bored of it. So let's add 5 pounds to each side. So now it's 55 pounds versus 45 pounds. That's a little bit more difficult, not too much, but then now you're gonna get bored of that and go to 65, 75, 85. So think of it kind of like that way with speed limits. Speed limits are a great indicator, and then also the complexity of the exercise. So adding cars to the equation, multiple lane roads, interstates. So what I would recommend is if you get bored in a parking lot, go ahead and take it to a neighborhood. If you live in a neighborhood, boom, you're already there. But take it to a neighborhood. Max is usually 25 miles an hour, not a lot of traffic. The only people that go into the neighborhood are the people that live in the neighborhood or visiting. The only thing you really have to worry about are kids and people going in and out of their driveways. Okay, so I highly recommend practicing in a neighborhood if you want to start off slow, and then from there move up. Okay, so be aware of your surroundings is also very important. We talk about the plan method, position for safety, locate hazardous situations, assess relevant threats, navigate active threats. So be aware of your surroundings, stay in yellow stage, go into orange stage if you have to, which is typically intersections and corners. But the main thing is just kind of being aware of those patterns and seeing if there's a car coming, seeing if there's a kid coming. If a bouncy ball or a basketball goes across the street and you're in the neighborhood practicing, just assume a child's gonna run after it. You see somebody walking their dog. Sometimes motorcycles scare dogs. So just kind of give yourself a nice position of safety, which is a good space cushion, and that will help you out quite a bit. So those are the things that you should be doing as a beginner when you want to start riding a motorcycle. Very important.